Hey love and welcome. Today we are going to talk about the different things to consider when you're trying to decide on which locking method to use for your locks. So let's just get right into it. So one of the first things you want to consider before locking, do you want to go with the interlocking method or the palm rolling method? Depending on which one you go with will help you narrow down which method to start with. So if you were to decide on the interlocking method, some of your options are braid locks, sister locks, two-strand twist locks, even insta lock. Those can all be interlocked. As far as the rolling method, some of your options are insta lock, even two-strand twist lock. You can palm roll that too if it's big enough. The comb coil lock. Another thing you want to consider is size. Size will help you determine quickly which option to go with. So let's say you want to go smaller. You want smaller locks. You can go with sister locks. You can go with braid locks. You can go with even the small version of the two-strand twist locks. You can even go with the small version of the comb coil locks. You can do that small, or you can go larger. When you go larger, you can do comb coils on the large side. You can do the insta lock. You can do the two-strand twist. You can even do braid locks and do them large. There's so many ways, so many things you can do, but just consider which one is best for you, and that will help you narrow down which locking method to choose. Another thing you want to consider, which to me is like the biggest thing, cost. How much do you want to pay? If you don't mind spending a little bit of dough, sister locks is more like up there. Braid locks can even be up there as well if you're getting them small because it's time consuming. If you're doing lock extensions, that can be costly too, because if you're going small and depending on how long you want those extensions to be, all that stuff adds up. Instant lock. Instant lock can be expensive too, depending on, once again, the size and the length. All of those are laborious, so because of that, you expect to pay some money for those services. If you want something, that doesn't cost as much, you can do the coils, which takes about an hour or so to put in. You can even do two-strand twists. That doesn't take long. It depends on the person's process. So think about the cost. When you go with those options, they typically cost less. Another thing you want to consider is maintenance. How often do you want to get your hair done? With sister locks, you have to go every 4 to 6 weeks, whereas for someone starting off with coils, might not have to go every 3 months to get it maintained. Even with insta lock, you might not have to go as often. So how often do you want to maintain your hair? Option to consider is, as far as the maintenance goes, is the what are you going to be doing, or how often do you want to shampoo your hair? Sometimes when you're starting off with the comb coil locks, you have some restrictions on how often and how quickly after the initial service you can shampoo your hair, so you want to consider that. Whereas with interlocking, like the sister locks or braid locks, you can shampoo that stuff as day one if you want to. As long as you prep it for it, you can shampoo it day one, and there aren't a lot of restrictions as far as the shampooing. Now, there might be some processes you have to do with the shampooing, but you can shampoo from day one, whereas palm roll, the comb coil, you cannot shampoo day one. You have to wait, and depending on your loctician, they'll tell you how long to wait, So think about that when it comes to as far as the maintenance. So you want to think about how long you want to go in between retightenings or services. How do you want to keep up with your hair? How often do you want to shampoo? What look do you want? Do you want that sleek, smooth look then go with the palm rolling option. If you want that neat look, but it's not sleek and smooth like the palm roll, but you want it to stay, even if you get in the pool, your hair is still done, then interlocking option. So those are the things to consider. Another thing to consider is lifestyle. How do you want, like, what is your day-to-day routine? Do you work out a lot? And if you work out, do you sweat a lot? Are you a beach person? Are you constantly in the pool? Are you constantly dealing with water? Those are some of the things to consider when you're trying to decide on which locking method will be best for you. You're dealing a lot with water activities, then the palm rolling comb coil might not be the best thing for you because you sweat, that product is sweating right on out, or it's loosening up, it frizzes, you get in the pool and you no longer have coils or the two-strand twist. So you have to consider, how do you want to, what lifestyle do you have? Your lifestyle will determine and let you know what option to get. Another thing I see, if you have like psoriasis, that's scalp issues and those flakes and stuff, you want to make sure you really want to get in there and clean your hair, right? So sometimes when you're starting off with the coils and you can't shampoo as often as you need to, and it gets all in there and it gets stuck and create buildup, that might not be the best option for you. You might want to consider interlocking, you know? So those are some of the things to consider when you're locking. And of course, your consultant or your loctician, if they're well-versed in different types of locks, they can help you with that as well. The last thing you want to consider is the overall look. What do you want the overall look to look like? Do you want, for me, I decided to go with sister locks because I wanted that loose natural look without being loose natural. So as right now I have a hat on and some curls. From far away, it just looks like some curls going on, right? Until you get closer, you're like, oh, she's locked, you know? So you have to decide, what look do you want from the jump? Do you want volume? Do you want it to look close to loose natural? If you want volume from the jump, then Insta-Lock, two-strand twist lock, coil lock will be the best bet for you, because if you go with sister locks or braid locks, those locks tend to be skinny initially. It doesn't thicken up until it thickens up over time, but the initial look is skinny, scalpy, spacey, and so forth. So if you do not want that initial look, then you might want to consider the two-strand twist, where you have the two-strand twist, Insta-Lock, comb coil lock, so you get that volume and bounce and everything right away. Okay, so those are some of the things to consider. Leave a comment below if you have any questions. I'm happy to help. I'm happy to answer them. You might never know. I might expand this video some more and put some more information out there. But definitely like my video, subscribe to my channel, and share with your friends and family, or with anyone that you know is interested in thinking about locks, and give them some things to think about before they lock it up. Because once you lock, it is permanent. Although you can take it down, but listen, we're doing lifestyle stuff here. So think about it before you decide to make that investment and spend that money, and then you end up with something that you did not want, or the look you didn't want, or the type of lock you didn't want. Okay, so think about it, do your research, and that's it for today. Enjoy, and thank you for coming in.